This type of show has such devoted fans, I'm sure you're aware of. What do you hear from the fans, and what does that mean to the cast and the crew and the producers and so forth about their loyalty to the show?
They are very loyal to the show, and constantly, like I do travel a lot between Los Angeles and Philadelphia. My son's up at the University of Penn and my family, and so I go up to Philadelphia a lot from Charleston. We film in Charleston, South Carolina, so there's also a lot of Army posts around there, whether it's Atlanta or Charleston or coming through Charlotte. So you run into a lot of either Army people or the wives waiting for their spouses to come home in the airport. So, and they're always just thrilled that we're actually showing their side of the story, and that that we try to be as authentic as we can to them. So they're proud of it. We're honored that we're trying to do, the best we can. It's entertainment, of course, but everybody's thrilled with the show. I mean, I think even Michelle Obama, I read last week, where she went to Hollywood to try to get them to do more on military, to get all of films and TV to show more of what's going on in the military. So I think we're a little ahead of the curve there.
And, yeah, definitely. I mean, given that there are 2 wars going on and possibly more with all the things going on around the world, fictional TV is not really portraying that at all, apart from your show, and that must be really gratifying that you're getting that kind of feedback, especially from people like Michelle Obama. I mean, what does that feel like to you?
Yeah, it is really good. I mean, the women are always, they're kind of the unsung heroes. Obviously the soldiers are over there fighting for all of us, but the women are the ones, or the spouses, I should say, are the ones that are home taking care of everything else to keep their lives going and to keep our soldiers fighting without a lot of stress on their minds as far as back home goes.
Well, from season 1 to where you are now in season 5, how do you feel like the character has changed and progressed?
God, it's gone through, Claudia Joy has gone through so much, but she's always been like the heart of the show. She's kind of the central nucleus. I'd say the way that she's progressed is that she's had some tough things to get through on her own and try to figure out. She's lost a daughter. She was diagnosed with diabetes, and still to stay strong, because as the general's wife, you can't can't let them see you sweat, so to say, so you have to still uphold a certain standard. So I think they're the challenges that Claudia Joy has gone through.
Do you have a highlight episode from the past season where you think your character was showcased in the best possible light? Anything come to mind?
Wow, it's a good question. There's so many. Our writers are. I really do love our writers. They're really good, and they come up with great storylines.
Rob, I think, had a couple that he was particularly wanted to ask you about.
Just in the aftermath of the loss of Jeremy, all the wives really have a lot to play in that particular episode, especially at the funeral and the one afterwards. But I found that to be really quite an emotional and a well-balanced episode, and your performance in that is quite strong. Would that be a possibility, perhaps, maybe for your, if you had to pick an episode from the season, or was there something maybe perhaps later on towards the end?
I think that is one of the ones that they chose.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the ones they chose for Emmy consideration. Because with that, it brings up all of Claudia Joy's grief and angst over Amanda dying.
That's right.
And she really didn't get a chance to express that because she couldn't. She had to be strong once again. So watching, your best friend going through that, I can't help but obviously have all the Amanda memories come up.
Yeah.
So that was a really good show.
That episode 4, you're dealing, immediately with the death of Jeremy, and then that episode 5, it's more of the aftermath of it. Talk about
5 is like the dream where I think I see her, right? Is that 5 where I think I see her?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. We shot that out in Folly Beach. Yeah. And we had Kim Allen come back, obviously.
That you have on this show, it looks like you all are having a blast doing it, and it looks like you have a real good camaraderie. Is that the case? And talk about working with this particular group of people.
Yes, we actually do. We have an amazing, the cast gets along, which everyone's always surprised, or, they're always waiting for some kind of not fighting, but, whatever, some gossip stuff to be going on. We actually all really like each other and we get along after 5 years, which is rare in this business. But we do get along. We have dinners together. We do tons of events together. The crew is amazing. We're really tight with the crew. We have we're really lucky on this show. We're very fortunate. It doesn't come along like this all the time and to last this long going into our 6th season. But everybody genuinely likes each other and respects each other. And, we'll have like softball games and golf tournaments and, besides the dinners and, we do a lot of things together. Barbecues, sometimes we'll just do movies, everybody take boat rides with some of the crew. We all do all kinds of things together. So it is like a little family down in Charleston.
Well, Kim, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about some of your previous work. Given that we're a website that talks about awards, you have won an Emmy as Best Supporting Actress, and you've been nominated 2 other times for NYPD Blue of all shows. I mean, you really can't get much better than that. Can you tell us about first of all, the experience working on that amazing show, and also the experience of having your name called and running up to the podium and accepting an Emmy? And that must have been amazing.
NYPD Blue was an amazing show, and the people on that, I remember Stephen Bochco came up to me and said, Kim, you'll appreciate this in 10 years, what kind of show you're working on. And I said, Stephen, I don't need 10 years. I get it today. Again, the cast and crew, I've been really fortunate in my work and in my career, because I have worked with amazing people and great crew, but NYPD was definitely one of the best, without question. David Milch, as a writer, doesn't get better than that. Stephen Bochco, and all of our producers, and of course, Jimmy and Dennis and the entire cast, Nikki and Gordy and everybody on that. We just had a ball. We had a great time. We had great characters, and we just ran with it. We had a lot of fun. And the other part of the question was running up to the stage.
Yeah.
That was very surreal. It was surreal. I got up and, I don't quite remember walking up the steps. I'm not sure if somebody helped me. I think Jimmy did help me out of my chair. I'm not sure. I was sitting next to him. And I just remember shaking. My hair was curly at the time. I was shaking so much my curls were shaking. It was like everything was shaking on my body. It was surreal. I wish I could go back and actually remember everything, because there's so many things going through your head at the same time.
When we've asked that question of other people recently that have won Emmys, especially, they say it's like a blur. Nothing at all stands out in terms of memory other than what people tell you and what maybe you see on video.
Well, I do remember thanking Jimmy. I remember some of the things I said. I remember Stephen and David standing up. I could see them in the audience, and then I remember Mark Tinker also won for Best Director.
Yeah.
And I think he, said something like, he said something a little dirty, about, right on stage on TV about, touching Kim Delaney's breasts on his way out as he gave me a hug. And then he took out his gum and stuck it on the Emmy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
He had gum in his mouth and he just stuck it on the Emmy. I remember that part.
That's pretty cool.
I remember pieces. I just wish I could, it was fun. It was great.
Well, opposed to the other 2 years when you didn't win, did you have a feeling that night you were or going to win, or what? Do you have an anticipation of whether it's
not?
No?
No.
No, absolutely not. I was stunned. David said he was going to write for me, and David Milch. But, I had no idea. I just froze for a second. I think I was paralyzed, and then somehow I got up those steps. So.
Well, back to Army Wives. It's been renewed by Lifetime for a 6th season, so obviously the network is really behind the show. But you've got a break now before, I guess, you start shooting that. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're on hiatus right now. So I'm back. I'm up at New Jersey Shore at the beach.
Nice.
And just relaxing and seeing family and, catching up with friends and, boyfriends and all that stuff.
Yeah. So then what have you got, in the pipeline for other projects coming up, later this year, Kim?
For ABC?
Just generally, what have you got coming? What projects have you got coming up?
Well, I just finished that I have coming up that are finished. The one that's finished right now is a movie for Hallmark Movie Channel called Finding a Family. That's coming up. That'll be out in October. I think they said October 15th. I'm not sure. And I co-exec produced that one. And I play the mother. It's based on a true story. And, the mother's bipolar. She's really smart, and then she has a car accident, and with the brain trauma develops, bipolar. And her son is in and out of foster homes. So it's actually sad, but it's a good story because it's based on a true story. And this kid is now at Harvard. His mother, told him when he was little to go to Harvard, that was the best school, and an education is the best thing you can do and have. And he's I think he graduates 2013. And he came on at the real Alex. So that'll be out in October. And other than that, I'm developing a few different projects, but we haven't started shooting anything yet there because I have to. I'm under contract with Army Wives right now.
Yeah.
But developing some things.
We really appreciate your time today. I hope you're having a great summer vacation, and wish you and the show all the best.
Thank you so much.